Entering the Mayo Experience.
Mayo Experience. Mayo Experience. Mayo Experience. Experience.
Welcome to the Pat Mayo Experience, presented by DraftKings. Week 17 best bets in the NFL. The gold, the silver, the bronze are all coming up for you. Smash the like, sub to Mayo Media Network on YouTube, and rate and review the audio podcast as well. Reminder, the DraftKings Listeners League is open for Week 17. The link is down in the description. 3 max entry, $15 to play. No rake, thus making it the best tournament on DraftKings. The best tournament not on DraftKings. The race for the Mayo Cup, one and done golf league. It starts at the Sony Open. 2 weeks' time, $125 per entry, 5 max entry. That works out to be around $4 a week for the entire year. Runs January through the end of August. You make one pick per week. It takes you less than 20 seconds to do every single week. If you have a very low tolerance for golf or don't even know all that much about golf, this is the perfect pull for you. It's up nearing 50% full with 2 weeks to go already. So if you want a spot, you should best go get it now. And if you enter and then screenshot me on Twitter your entry, you're eligible for another entry that I will be giving away for free. So hit the description, get in the Fantasy Golf Championships right now, okay? Cam Stewart, Rob Pizzola. Hope the holidays were better than my picks last week, at least.
They were horrible, Pat. Horrible holidays. Probably the worst of my life. Woke up one day, my house is minus 17. Oh, okay. The furnace doesn't work. Okay, so I go down, check it out. Okay. Do they think we can fix it? Oh, no. Guy comes upstairs. Oh, it's flooded. It's dangerous. Like, you have to replace. How much? Well, we get a cheap one, $5,000. We can go on the plan, $7,000. Like, oh, this is great. Okay. You know what, bud? Do whatever the hell you got to do. I'm snapping. 2.5 days, guys. No heat. Had the parents over Boxing Day. I got to be honest with you, Pat. I don't know what I did to anybody in my previous life. You guys know I'm not a bad person. I know sometimes I cut Pizzola, but it's all in good fun. I don't really hurt anybody. But I got to tell you, this year has just been... It's just a beatdown session after a beatdown session. So, Pat, all the money I made, all these extra shows I'm doing, furnace, the stupid furnace. God, you got to be kidding me. You know how cold it was? The 3 coldest days of the year, too. You know, Pizzola, it was freezing. Got 4 space heaters cooking.
Well,
God.
I know that last week we talked about how much you love living in the cold. And I didn't know that it was an omen that the furnace was going to break.
You're right, Pizzola. I should just shut up. Great call by you. Yeah, I'm a polar bear. No, I'm not that. No, that's a bunch of bullshit. It was so damn cold, buddy. I had anyway, Pat, I got to tell you, I don't know what to do. I just can't wait for those Omaha steaks to come to my house because I'm just going to tear into one right now, early, often.
Oh, I mean, you can eat all of them in one sitting. It's probably not.
I'm thinking about it.
It's probably not recommended that you eat that much meat in one sitting, but hell, you go nuts if you really want to.
I couldn't care less anymore.
Fortunately for you, the year did not go well. We almost have a new year, so maybe it's going to be a great 2023, the year of Cam.
I don't know, Pat. 23 sounds like a bad number. 22, it's not blackjack. It's 1 over blackjack. 23 is still a bus card. 21 was fine. Remember how see? Mayo, remember how good I was 21 on the show? That's right. 21 was my year. Hitting the picks, having a great time. 22, 23, no. It's not working for me.
So by your logic, the rest of the century is just not going to be good?
Yeah, you're right. Till we roll it around, till we get to 2020. Actually, you're right.
31, 2030.
31. 31's a double down card, right? 31, 10. Yeah, hit me. Split. Yeah, 2031, Pat. That sounds right.
All right, so tune back into the Best Bet Show in 78 years, and Cam's going to go on a heater again, apparently, Pizzola.
Well, some people base their lives around like the stars and all sorts of crazy shit, and zodiac signs and whatever, and Cam's basing his life around blackjack and what's a double down card. And 22 is a push in blackjack switch, is it not?
In Switch? I don't play Switch.
Well, I'm just saying. I figured
Switch. Okay.
No, I'm just saying. It's not exactly the worst.
No, you're right. It could be worse. Could be worse.
Yeah.
Our picks, actually, my picks couldn't have been worse. I got swept last week. I felt good.
I sucked too, Pat.
I had a 3-0 week, and then all of a sudden now I'm back 0-3. So I'm just back down after wiping the board. Rob was 2-1. He kind of saved us. Carolina came through for you, Cam. So you were 1-2.
Thank you.
We went pure whiff. Actually, no, we went 1-2 across all of the gold, silver, and bronze. So we are now below 500 on our gold picks. We should probably rectify that. 500 on bronze and 7 games above on the silver. So we're still up for the year, playing all the picks marginally. But I'd like to fix that the final 2 weeks of the regular season to see what we can do. But I mean, I picked Tennessee last week, Rob. That was a horrible pick, as it turned out, watching that game. However, I will take the short-term losings with Tennessee last week because Houston winning brought a lot of my futures back into play, which I'm very excited about.
Yes.
Jacksonville division, Bears' worst record is now back in play. Bears cashed their alt underline of 5.5, so it wasn't a total disaster, but the weekly picks were not good.
Yeah, you got to find some positives in the negatives sometimes. And I agree. My Jacksonville futures are live again, which is nice. Somehow my Carolina to make the playoffs futures are live. Like, none of this makes sense, really. Like, literally a team that fired their coach and made a coaching quarterback change mid-season could still win the division in the NFC South. Like, crazy.
Here's the deal, Rob. If Tom Brady wasn't friggin' David Blaine street magic and all this other bullshit we see every week, Carolina would have already won the division at 16-1 for me. That's the thing. Tampa Bay, I don't know what these guys are doing. Oh, they come back 13 down, 16 down. Honestly, that Carolina pick when they were down, we deserve better. Like, this Tampa Bay team's a fucking train wreck, and they find ways to win every single week, and it's always in dramatic fashion. I'm sick of those guys. Enough. Sorry, I'm so angry today.
No, that's all right.
It's been a rough week.
Yeah, you got events sometimes.
Hey, I had to get my Buccaneers futures in to win the NFC and to win the Super Bowl now. As I told you last week, Cust has put the curse on them, so now they're going to win in the most ridiculous way every single week.
You're right.
I could see it. Like, it's not... The Bucs are terrible. Like, let's call it out for what it is, but they do some things that are really good. And if they just did them more, they could probably be a lot better. Like, when the Bucs run a hurry up offense, they have a top 10 offense in the league, but they barely ever run hurry. They don't run hurry up anymore until they're losing by like 10 points in the fourth quarter and they need 2 touchdowns. Instead, they run that, they hand off to Fournette. Oh God, Fournette is just like, guys beat down. Like, he's, the offense is terrible for the most part. So, I don't know. Like, is it going to surprise anyone if the Bucs get in the playoffs and then they just like start doing things differently and all of a sudden they're good somehow? Like, it wouldn't surprise me. Like, the roster on paper is good. They just suck because I think most of it's coaching, honestly.
A lot of it's coaching, and I think a lot of it's been injuries throughout the course of the year too. And you have that extra year of attrition on all of these old guys already that they were going to hit a peak at some point and start coming back down. But it does look like they might get like all of their offensive line back for the playoffs, which is huge for them.
As a Cowboys fan,
are you sweating it?
Like, I already know how the season ends, right? It's just like, Tampa had a horrible year. We're going to go there. We're going to be favorites on the road. And like Cam said, we're going to get a Tom Brady, David Blaine street magic at the end of the game, down 13 points. The Bucs will score 2 touchdowns in the last 2.5 minutes of the game to win, like they've been doing for the rest of the year. And honestly, I don't mind the divisional formats in the NFL where like if you win your division, you get in the playoffs. That doesn't bother me, but don't give them a home game. This is the problem. Just like get them into the playoffs, but just go regular seeding for the home games because this is so stupid that, Cowboys and Eagles battling for the division. One of those teams gonna have to go on the road to play Tampa Bay. They might finish below 500. It's really dumb.
Excellent point, Rob. Like, that's the thing. Like, it's that's the whole thing about these sports. It's like you work your ass off the whole year for what? So you did a good job and you're actually getting penalized for being good. Oh, okay. That makes a lot of sense. This is the whole thing in hockey too, Rob, like with their seating, everything. It's like, go guys, get into a fucking boardroom and figure this shit out. It's not that hard. What is the point of the regular season, which is supposed to mean something, if you're not rewarding somebody who did a good job in the regular season? Basically, he's a chump who shows up drunk to work. He's fucking up your computers. He's messing up payroll. And he's like, oh, you know what, Tony? You did a great job this year. How about a Christmas ham and a turkey and a raise? Bullshit.
I agree.
I think we... all three of us probably acknowledge that Carolina at the moment is better than Tampa Bay. But Rob,
yes,
I would imagine you'd if you're a Dallas fan, you'd much rather see Carolina in the first round.
Oh yeah, I'd much rather play Darnold than Brady for sure. I don't know that Carolina's better than Tampa Bay. Like
they're playing better.
They're playing better. Yes, I would agree with that.
Yeah, no J.C. Horn this week for the Panthers.
That's a problem.
It's a real problem because he was turning into. I mean, he ended up getting hurt last year. He's hurt now. We'll see if he ends up going. Probably not. And just when he is on the field, he's a legit difference maker for that defense. He allows them to actually send extra guys at the quarterback and generate a lot of pressure. And when he's not out there and he can't be on lockdown, they have to help. And guys can torch them. And this Bucs team is. I mean, that's one that I'm looking at. It's not going to be a gold pick. And like. To have the Bucs win by 4 seems impossible with the way that they play, but I kind of think that the Bucs take it to them this week. But then I'll watch and they'll be down like 21-0.
Then it's Carolina or nothing for me. I will never bet on Tampa Bay. It's a hate. Like I hate everything about that team. Like honest to God, I hate that team. Like there's nothing about that team that I like. Fournette's like my buffet buddy. We just go in there and steal the crab legs. Like this defense, sometimes they're good, sometimes they're not. Like honestly, Pat, the way they win games, like you're beating Trace McSorley in Arizona, like barely. Like this team all year, it's a fucking rabbit's foot. Like Tampa Bay should not even be close to where they are. They shouldn't be in. Like they should be at the bottom of that division. That's the funny. Oh yeah, and by the way, that division is so shit, Rob. We did the math. The Saints are still alive. If Tampa Bay loses out and the Saints win, like what kind of league are we dealing with here? This is nuts.
It's bad. It's rough. I mean, I think you have to, you're playing your division twice. You want to make the divisions meaningful in some way. Fine. Give them a playoff spot. I don't care. But the home game, that's where I draw the line.
You're right.
There's a possibility that one of these teams finishes 7-10 and they're going to host a game. Like, get real, please. Like, that should not happen. Period.
Yep.
Americans might not understand this, but in Canada, over the holiday season, the World Juniors are on, Cam. I'm sure that you're plenty familiar with this. And some people take it very seriously. And what it is, it's like an under-18 hockey tournament that only Canada cares about. And it's like a real product up here on like one of the major sports networks. It's like wall to wall. It might as well just be the Super Bowl for like 2 straight weeks, but for kids hockey. And people, like I said, take it very seriously. And Canada lost their first game because it's happening in the city that I'm in, and people around here are like real crazy about it. I didn't see any of the stories that I'm used to, though, Cam, about when Canada loses a game and these like weird 45-year-old incels who live in their parents' basement are like telling 17-year-olds to go kill themselves because they lost a hockey game. I didn't see any of that. So I feel like that's progress.
Pat, it's not progress. All you have to do is go on the score like stuff. Like I do my updates there and I go into the chat sometimes just to see it. If any of these guys watch our show, like how do you want to know these people? Like I don't even know, like it is the lowest form of human being to lie about a touchdown, a first down, fucking anything.
Turnover
like
on downs, fumble.
The racism on it too. It's just, I'm like, who are these fucking people? This is the next generation. We've been gambling for 35 years. This is the whole problem with this new gambling thing. All these other turkeys are now involved in this stuff, guys, and it's a disaster. No one asks me and Gabe talked about it. No one asks a question anymore. Oh, how's my bets? How's my bets? How's my bets? Like, our society is doomed, bro. It's doomed. I'll give you a tip, kids out there. If you want to do something in your life, don't bet. Get into a trade. Because all these losers I can't fix anything. I can't fix a furnace, a toilet, or anything. Get into a trade, make money, and just live your life and have kids.
Yep.
Trolls.
I don't understand the infatuation. Like, I mean, the company that airs it has done a really great job in branding this over the years and making you feel like you're not a Canadian unless you support Canada in the World Junior Hockey Championships, which, by the way, is just like a random it's an under 18s, right? Like, do any other Canadians know what the result of the under 16 were or the under 20? Like, it's just a random tournament with a random age.
What about the Spengler Cup? Pizzola, he scores. Canada over HC Davos.
I knew you were going to use Davos.
You can do it again. Well, who's the final? Canada versus Davos. Love it every year. Oh, I love hockey more than my beautiful wife. Hockey. Cam, you stole cheese from my fridge. My vodka. Rum. No, I didn't, Cool. I didn't do it, man. Somebody else did. Maybe Lunsey did it. Me and Gabe didn't do it. I know we do a lot of stuff. We didn't steal your booze and we didn't steal your cheese. Anyway, yeah. Welcome to Canada.
In fairness,
didn't they beat Germany 10-1 yesterday?
Yeah, they smoked.
Nice comeback.
Yeah, Bedard had a hat trick and whatever. But
7 points. Yeah.
Honestly, it got to the point I can't even believe I'm going to admit to this in reality, but it got to the point where I hated the branding of the World Juniors so much that I actually started to cheer against Canada for a long time.
See, that's not right. See, that's just stupid.
I'm on the same. I'm on the same page as Rob.
Come on, guys.
Like I just wanted it to be over.
I
Like
understand
just get this out of my life so they can
Yes.
put the bowl games back on the channels, so I don't have to search everywhere
No,
for
you're right.
the
You're
Armed
right.
Forces Bowl and whatever.
Let's just say one thing. They went too far when they were interviewing holograms. When they had hologram kids and they did a fake interview with like holograms and like Star Trek characters, I'm like, we've gone too far. And then they lost the USA that tournament because you know what? The USA actually had people in flesh and they're not getting interviewed before the game and being bothered, whereas these guys in holograms are showing up on the set and they're getting shaken down before the game. Bad idea.
Well, I will say, like, if Canada loses to the US, I'm going to go to bed at night as if nothing happened. There's going to be people out there that are legitimately suicidal after a loss. Like they feel their national, Canada, like hockey, this is all we have. And like, we can't let this happen. The US is getting better. And it's like, it's just a game. Like
No,
it's
we have a lot, 11.4% inflation. And I go to the store to buy groceries and it's $300 for a couple of bags now. That's what we got.
$7,000 for a furnace crying out loud.
Pat, I went to the liquor store for a bottle of vodka and some Guinness or whatever. Like in the States, it's like $48. Here, it's $130. Sir. I'm like, so every time I go to the liquor store, my chick drinks triples. So I got to bring $500 to get a couple bottles of vodka and some beer. Like I'm done with that. Like this is ridiculous.
We should drive over to Quebec.
What size of bottle of vodka did you buy?
Big jugs, the jug.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying, Pat? Not the 20. The big
1.5
one with the
liter bad
handle.
boy, yeah.
But still, it should be like me and my girlfriend go to the States and we come back with like, things in a trunk, and we're getting Belvedere for like $24, and the same bottle's like $70 here. Anyway, I'm not gonna get it. Like we get hosed in with everything, man. It's just a joke. How am I gonna save money?
Well, let's try to come up with a way to make money by actually hitting winning picks this week. Gold pick from me. I feel good about this one, which means it's going to be horrible because every time I bet on this team, they're horrible. Every time I get a bet against them, they cover the number. This is not a big number, so I'm going to take Washington -2 with Carsenio Wentz back at quarterback. This Cleveland team is horrible. And Deshaun Watson is horrible, so I'm very much looking forward to somehow an injured Nick Chubb running for 300 yards against the Commanders. But it's been going between 2 and -2.5. I'm just looking at the site right now. It's -2, -110 right now. It's where I bet it. So yeah, Washington -2. I don't think there's a ton of explanation here. It's just I think that this is a field goal at worst game. The Commanders have to win it, and hopefully Carson Wentz doesn't throw 3 picks for touchdowns.
Yeah, that's always the concern, right? I don't necessarily disagree.
I agree with the pick.
I mean, listen, Deshaun Watson has been really bad this year. Of 42 qualified quarterbacks, so it's a certain number of dropbacks. He's 41st of 42 in EPA per dropback this year. So he's been really rough. I mean, I don't really put much stock into last week's game because that was played in conditions that like you're just not going to get again. But yeah, there's something that's missing with the Browns offense overall. And even with Wentz, I somehow weirdly trust Washington's offense a little bit more right now. I would like to see Wentz distribute to his wide receivers a little bit more, though. I mean, that's what Heineke's done really well, right? Like Heineke will make some bad plays. Like he's like the full YOLO type of quarterback, right? But at least he tries to get it into the hands of McLaurin and Dotson, and Wentz doesn't do that. So tough game for me. But if I had to pick, I would agree with you, Pat. I would pick Washington.
Cam, the big difference between this Carson Wentz iteration from what we saw earlier in the season is that Chase Young is back on the defensive side of the ball, which is nice because their defense was already pretty good to begin with. But just the fact that they're really committed to running, Antonio Gibson's banged up, but they're going to run Robinson. He had like 20 carries in the first half against San Francisco. Maybe not the greatest strategy in the world, but they were committed to running the ball. And that was against a team that has a great run defense, not a team that has like the worst run defense. So between Robinson and Gibson, I just think that Washington's going to be able to effectively run the ball enough here to at least control their own destiny in this game. And 2 points at home for a team that has to win to get into the playoffs. Like it might just be, trick plays. Doesn't matter what it is. They need this win if they want to sniff the playoffs. So I just don't think the Browns are all that good.
Robinson's been shot and he's doing well. So I don't know what Prince Harry's up to, but all you got to do is find McLaurin too. The guy's very reliable. Dish it off to Robinson, a couple throws. No, I'm with you, Pat. Like the Cleveland Browns are a fucking train wreck. Like you can't even beat the Saints at home. Like this team, like honest to God, I'm with you on Washington. And let's remember one thing. I had Washington against San Francisco as one of my picks last week. They got stalled at the 1. They got stalled in the red zone a lot of times. If you actually watch that game, and Bosa basically single-handedly covered that game for San Francisco. He's a one-man gang. He murdered Heineke in that game. Like he got killed.
Mm-hmm. All right, Rob, you are up with your gold pick. Let's have it. You won yours last week, so keep it going.
You've been doing great, Rob. You've been doing good.
I appreciate that, Cam. I appreciate the positivity. I spent some time in the score chats as well. It's a very negative space, so I do like the positivity every now and then.
It's not even a negative space. These people, like, I can't believe they're human beings, like with a heart. Like it's sickening. Anyway,
it's for like the low grade college basketball games where the feed is slow, right? So I'm hoping that I'm going to get something out of the chat where somebody's watching the game late. And it's just like
they'll lie about a Belmont bucket.
Everyone's lying. Like everyone in these chat.
Fordham hit a 3. No, they're down 14. It's all a lie. Like everything's a lie. Why do you lie on chats? Like, are you sick? You need a doctor, bro. You need to get your head examined. God, these people. It's not even real. Like Rob, like what kind? Like think about insanity. You spend time in your life, okay, with all the things you could be doing, in a chat and lying to people about scores. That's all I got to say.
Yep.
Did you guys? I got tagged in this. I think you did too, Rob, or maybe it was Feinberg who was tagged in it with me. That someone went down. I think it was like RJ Barrett. There was like some sort of like free. One of the bonus props that was out there was an over/under, and it was super low. And then he got hurt like 5 minutes into the game. Someone just tagged me in. 300,000 people like complaining to the sports books about like this needs to be a refund. This is unfair. He got hurt.
It was Devin Booker the other night for the Suns. And by the way, like people realize you're allowed to bet an under on a player prop, right?
That's an excellent point again. Yeah, good call,
everyone's everyone's just betting all these overs,
Yeah.
hoping for refunds if people get hurt. Like you're allowed to bet the under, and if the player gets hurt, you win your bet. Like that's a real life scenario. I hate that shit, by the way. Like I've been betting my whole life. Where do you draw the line, right? Devin Booker gets hurt for the Suns. Okay, all these guys are asking for refunds for their Devin Booker props. Can I ask for a refund for my Suns bet? Is that allowed?
Exactly. Great call, Rob. Another great call. And these fucking morons, these guys in the book are going, okay, I got an idea. Let's just give Mitch Trubisky futures back to people. That is the worst bet ever. Like, I bet horrible teams, and you're giving me a Mitch Trubisky refund. It's not my fucking fault you're a moron to bet that guy MVP. Like, think about realism and stuff that actually happens. Rob's right about this. Like, Pat, this new generation, when I used to lose bets, you know what Johnny Knuckles would say? Fuck, I'll meet you at the Burger King. Bring your money. Who cares? I'll get you a Whopper. Fuck you.
They used to laugh at me. If stuff like that happened, they'd laugh at me. They'd call me up on a good pick with Anthony Davis. Great stuff, Rob. I'm like, I know I should have avoided. But like the precedent that's set now, like the sports book's going to have to deal with this for every injury till the end of time.
Joke.
And like just make it a rule. If you're going to do stuff like that, just make rules, sportsbook rules, right? If a player gets injured in the first 10 minutes of the game, we will refund your bet so that it's not just this arbitrary, okay, sometimes there's a refund, sometimes there's not, because you just have to deal with this shit all the time for eternity. It's so stupid, by the way. Like the new breed of bettors, it's like Cam talked about it. We've been betting for a long time. This is the most unheard of. Like this is the participation trophy of betting, right? It's like, just deal with a loss and move on. This is
exactly,
it's so stupid. I get triggered.
Everyone's a clown. Everyone's a fucking idiot. You know what I mean? Oh, you bet. Like, honest to God, like I didn't know who these people are. Like, it actually sickens me. Like, it sickens me when I see this stuff. I'm like, I would never, ever go up to somebody with a losing bet and put like a clown emoji on or something. Like, you fucking kids, you guys need fucking help. And if I ever find out who you are, I'm gonna fucking knock your teeth out, you little fucks. Honest to God, man. Like, that it's insane, Pat. The things that people do and the way they tear people down now, it's fucking betting. You're going to win, you're going to lose. That's life. Like, you know what I mean? It's just, anyway, it infuriates me.
Well, Rob, I don't know that I get angry enough that I'll knock out a teenager's teeth or anything.
Well, they deserve it, some of these guys.
Yeah, but look at you. You're built like a teenager. Cam can really deliver a smack.
I actually
I
would
could.
probably get beat up. I got nerve damage on one side of my body. I'd probably lose most fights against teenagers, to be completely honest. Cam would do serious damage.
I do okay, but if it was a long fight, my cardio would kind of give out. I'd have to knock him out pretty early, I think.
Rob, let's have a winner. What is it?
Okay. I think people will be very surprised what I'm going to do here. But after weeks upon weeks upon weeks of fading the Minnesota Vikings,
Love this
I'm
pick.
going to be betting the Minnesota Vikings. DraftKings +3 +105. That's fine for me. That's very equivalent to 3.5. Doesn't matter what the price is. I think that we've gotten to the point where the market is overreacted a little bit to Green Bay's recent success. People just think it's a foregone conclusion now that Green Bay is going to win out and get into the playoffs. I don't necessarily agree. They played a quarterback last week who was concussed for half the game. The defense looked good. Sure. I mean, Tua took a huge hit in the first half, looked horrible in the second half of that game. Christian Watson wasn't able to practice yesterday. I think that's a big loss for the Packers offense. If you look at their splits with Watson on the field versus off the field this year, it has been a very, very big difference. But really, there's just not all that much separating these two teams. I think Minnesota is going to be able to run the ball. You look at, Miami first half last week. Pretty much everyone that's played Green Bay that I could think of off the top of my head has had some sort of success running the ball. That takes a lot of pressure off Kirk Cousins in a road game away at Lambeau Field. And on top of that, Kirk Cousins' numbers, even when he has been pressured away from home this year, are getting better and better and better. You look at previously in his career, he had a 5.9 yards per attempt when he was under pressure. This year, it's been 7.5 yards per attempt. He's learning just to throw it up to Justin Jefferson, and that's great. On top of it, I will say that there's like a hidden luck factor here in this game with Green Bay. They've had some very, very good special teams performances lately. 3 of Matt LaFleur's top 10 special teams performances of all time have come in the Packers' last 5 games. So I don't necessarily think that that's super repeatable. They're getting a lot of EPA out of special teams right now. And I think that's contributing to like this misperception, wrong perception, whatever you want to call it, of the Packers in our heads. So for once in a long time, I won't have to suffer the wrath of the Vikings fans. I'm betting Minnesota this week at Green Bay.
Are you going to be super excited when they lose by like 17?
It could happen. Like, honestly, could happen with every single bet. And I don't think Minnesota's good at this point either. I'm not reversing my stance on Minnesota and saying, oh, they're a Super Bowl contender and whatever. But the gap between them and the Packers is not more than like they're to me very similar teams. I think people are really overrating Green Bay right now. I really think that that's the case. And by the way, Aaron Rodgers now on the injury report with a new injury this week as well. So, I mean, he's going to play. I'm not saying he's not going to play, but not at 100%. So this is too much, like too much, too many points. Give me the Vikings.
Cam, gold pick.
I don't think you guys are going to like it, but this is what I'm doing. I'm taking the Houston Texans +4.5 against the Jaguars. And I'll tell you, it's not just about, Houston playing well recently. They've owned Jacksonville for a long time. Matchups make fights a lot of the time. And I will say this, the Jaguars stock has never been higher. We are all on Jaguars stock. But the thing is, sometimes this is a sell high point to me. I think Houston getting 4.5 is the right play. I really like this team. They're grinding every single week. I know it was Tennessee. I know they were beat down or whatever, but I'm just telling you, they always, always, always play the Jaguars tight. We're getting 4.5 at home. Give me the Houston Texans. That's all I'm going to say. I think they win this game. I think they can win outright.
I like this. This was going to be one of my minerals as well. So to your point, Cam, the Houston Texans 5-0 in their last 5 games against the Jags. 5-37-1 against everybody else in that same time. There could be some sort of matchup stylistic advantage that Houston has. But for me, the big thing in this is like, we're going to watch Thursday night football. We're going to watch the Tennessee Titans basically roll over to the Dallas Cowboys. They're starting one starter from the beginning of the year on defense. The game for the Titans is pretty much meaningless because it comes down to Jags Titans week 18 for the division. Now, the Jags can technically get a wild card spot, and that's what people are talking about. They don't have to win the division to get in. Look at what the Jags need in the next 2 weeks to get a wild card spot. And tell me if you believe anyone in that organization believes that they're actually going to get a wild card spot. They're going to watch Tennessee roll over to Dallas. And despite what Doug Peterson is saying, Doug Peterson, by the way, completely tanked a game before as a head coach.
Well, hold on. I think that might be part of the reason that they're coming out and declaring that they're playing everyone here because of what happened to Doug Peterson last time that got him fired.
Listen to the words out of Doug Peterson's mouth, though. It's not they're playing the whole game. They're going to start. It's this and it's very, open to interpretation type of stuff. Like you're telling me if Trevor Lawrence takes a sack on the first drive of the game and he's hobbling around, that they're going to keep him in for the rest of the game against Houston, knowing that next week is the pivotal game for them. Mm-hmm. I think that I could never, ever, ever, ever bet Jacksonville this week, ever. Way too much uncertainty in who's going to play, if they take the game seriously. I think best case scenario, if you're a Jags bettor, is that they all play the entire game, and then you're kind of coin flipping at the point spread. I like this pick, Cam, quite a bit. I think Houston is live, and I think that there's big upside in that anything could possibly go wrong for the Jags in this game, and they just say, okay, you know what? Let's get these guys off the field. Next week's the important one because, like I said, they're going to watch Tennessee I don't want to say give no effort. Obviously players that play will give effort, but they don't care about this game. They're announcing their defensive starters already before the game, and it's they don't care. They're playing for Week 18. The Jags would be idiotic not to do the exact same thing.
Well, I hope the Houston Texans win, and then Jags can win next week, and then I can try to collect all of these bets, which would be very good for my bottom line to make me a profitable bettor in 2022 for the NFL. But we'll keep our fingers crossed on that one. Silver picks, Rob.
Okay, here.
Texans?
Silver picks. No, I'll debate. I'm debating the Texans and someone else's the bronze. I'll probably settle with the Texans. Silver pick, I'll go with the Bears. I'll take the Bears getting 6 at Detroit. Part of it is just how bad Detroit's run defense was last week. The Panthers, Chuba Hubbard is looking like Barry Sanders out there, ripping off these 30-yard runs on every other play, is one of the most embarrassing run defensive performance I can remember in a long time. The Carolina Panthers offense last week averaged 8.8 yards per play. They ran the ball for 320 yards. And now you got the Bears, who pretty much exclusively run the ball coming into town. I like the chances for the Bears to be able to have success on the ground. Can the Bears defense get many stops? Probably not. But we saw these teams play a very close game earlier on in the year. It was 31-30. I just don't think the Lions have done enough lately to warrant a number like this. And I think a lot of what's built into this number is the fact that it is an important game for Detroit and it's not an important game for the Chicago Bears. But you're telling me, getting smoked by Carolina. They beat Zach Wilson because they blocked a punt return for a touchdown. The offense did nothing in that game overall. Zach Wilson is one of the worst quarterbacks I've ever seen play in my entire life. Too many points. Give me the Bears +6 against the Lions.
I like the Bears in this game, too. The only thing that I worry about, Cam, is that Fields has been taking some punishment here, and he does not look 100%.
Thing about Fields is, though, Pat, and I watch a lot of college football, there was a game against Clemson where he was legally dead, and he finished the game. He took so much punishment. I was like, you can't put this guy back out. And he just keeps on doing it and doing it and doing it. It's too many points for the Lions. I got off the Lions train last week against Carolina. It turned out to be a good pick. Mm-hmm. I'm just telling you, the Lions laying this kind of points, Pizzola's onto it. It almost made my minerals. It's definitely a top 5 pick. That's the thing. I like the Detroit Lions. I like them a lot, but this is the thing. You can just pound them on the ground in these games. And Justin Fields, he's basically a very talented running back, and they still have some studs. So I think it's a great pick by Rob, to be honest with you. I love it.
Do you have a silver selection, Cam?
No, Pat, I don't. But I think we can find one. I liked Minnesota, what Rob was talking about. Oh, God, am I going to do this? What do you guys think about the Jets?
I like the Jets.
I don't mind the Jets.
They were going to be one of mine.
Yeah, I don't mind. There's the other team I was debating for my bronze.
Give me the Jets. I'm a Seattle fan. Party's over. Geno Smith, it's been nice. Great draft class. Everything's good. The Seattle defense is a train wreck. And one thing I know about the New York Jets is they have a defense. This is not going to well, and it can travel. They should have beat Minnesota when they played them. Minnesota is better than Seattle, even though we cut up Minnesota. Jets should go into this game, take care of business, win this game by a touchdown, 10 points. I like the New York Jets to beat Seattle. It's been a great year for the Seahawks. We've had a brilliant draft, and I like the upside is great. We get good draft picks from Denver in the Russell Wilson trade, but hate to say it, Jets are better, and they're only laying 2 on the road. Give me the New York Football Jets. Done.
If I had to give you mineral picks on pizza toppings, as Cuss just tweeted out, Cam, he said that strawberry on pizza is a really good topping.
No, please.
Okay, know what we're going to do, and we're going to end this show right now. Where's the delete button?
Strawberry on pizza is if you have like a Nutella pizza, right? Yeah. Like if you're doing a dessert pizza.
Good call, Rob. Like, yeah, if you want to do chocolate and strawberries, like no, on pizza. I will say this though, like a Lucerne potato pizza is good. That's underrated if you do it with the white sauce or whatever. But see, I love Cuss, but come on. Like
this is like the episode of Seinfeld where Poppy wants to put or Kramer wants to put the cucumber on his pizza, and Poppy's no, it doesn't. Cucumber doesn't belong on a pizza.
No, cucumber sucks.
I've never actually seen in my entire life anybody put a strawberry on a pizza.
I agree with you, Rob.
Like in my entire life, I've never seen that. If I come from an Italian background, obviously Pizzola last name.
What?
If I asked someone in my family to put a strawberry
Irish.
on,
I thought you were Scottish.
Here we go. I don't have the tan.
Mick Pizzola. Yeah, there we go. Mac.
If I asked someone in my family to put a strawberry on a pizza, they would. I'm no longer part of the family. Is basically what would happen.
Oh, I agree with you.
My culture, they would say no.
Buddy, I'm Scottish, and if you put a strawberry on the pizza, you're probably going to get friggin' a Glasgow kiss, a glass going through your head from the top deck at the bar. No, you don't put strawberries on pizza. I don't even mind like anchovies and other salty, great things. Like for me, I got my girlfriend into like green olives. I love green olives. I'm a charcuterie guy. Like that's what I do. You do the sharp cheddars, you do the salamis, you do all the nice meats. Like that's how you roll. Strawberries are not meant for pizza. They're meant for oatmeal. They're meant for like toppings on healthy shit and maybe blender drinks.
Or just to eat on their own.
I love Cuss. I love Cuss, but like some of these takes are just so fucking like ridiculous. I don't even know what to say anymore. No. The answer is no.
The only time I can remember, you used to talk about the Nutella pizza. They had those old Pizza Hut like dessert pizzas.
Oh yeah,
I could see that.
But those were like cinnamon type.
They're like Cinnabon pizzas.
Yeah,
right?
Yes, they were.
Yeah, those were dangerous. They were dangerously, pretty decent actually.
They were like if you like 150 grams of sugar and a diabetic shock, but they are fucking tasty. Mm-hmm. I agree.
Oh, 100%. And it wasn't really a pizza. It was just a cake.
Yeah.
That they called it.
Yeah. Good call.
So, Strawberries
Pizza Hut lunch buffet. Do those Pizza Hut lunch buffets still exist?
Oh, I wish they did, Pizzola. I used to rock it so hard in high school. Like we'd come in with Ziplocs and just take these guys to the cleaners. I'm going to tell you something. I don't think it exists because of guys like me. I think I destroyed that company. Like we used to go in there. It's like the Pizza Hut buffet. More. It's kind of like what they said to me when I was in Indiana. It's like, sir, have you had enough? As I'm building my Kentucky Fried Chicken pyramid bone castle, it's like, it's a buffet. What do you want me to do? I'm on a road trip going to baseball games. If I want to eat 25 pieces of chicken and mashed potatoes, I can do whatever the hell I want. Then don't make a buffet then. If you don't like people eating, don't make a buffet.
See, like discussion. Chicken, like if you eat enough chicken, that could be costly enough for the company that's put on but like pizza, like the cost of producing the pizza is very low. And
I agree.
Like, you could take 30 slices and they're still going to make money off of that you take at the pizza buffet. So
good call.
I'm not going to say that I'm showing up with Ziploc bags to take pizza home. I actually I don't agree with that at all.
It's a disgusting move, but you know what? I was younger when I did that stuff.
Got it. Fair enough. But the guys who show up at Mandarin and are taking the crab legs,
like those guys are stuffing them down their pants. They got garments in there. Rob, they have special pockets and garments and stuff. Like you should see these guys with cargo pants. There's crab legs down there. Like I've seen everything. I've seen guys try to steal oysters, like anything that's there. Like it's disgusting. When I go to these like Chinese buffets with my boy Vince, the things people do even disgust me. And I'm a professional grifter at a buffet. It's disgusting. Just stealing anything that's not nailed down.
For my silver pick this week, Eagles -5.5 at home against the Saints. I actually kind of bought into. I like what I saw from Gardner Minshew against Dallas.
Love Minshew.
Thought it was fine. He's a very capable backup. I think this offense just runs really well anyway. It's obviously not to the level when Hurts is out there. I worry about no Lane Johnson. That's tough. And Maddox out on the defensive side of the ball, but they're playing a team that can legitimately not take advantage of an opposing team's corners being out. Like if the Saints win and or cover this game's like 10-7. And I think the Eagles are just still good enough to be able to score 20. I think if they score 20, I think they cover this game. This is the game that they need. They do not want to walk into week 18 in a divisional game knowing Dallas is coming off extra rest and thinking, if we lose this and Dallas wins, we might be fucked here. They need to get Jalen Hurts right for the playoffs, and they can do that by winning this week. So I think they're going balls to the wall here in week 17.
Love it.
I'm very concerned about the Lane Johnson injury for the Eagles because, the Eagles' offensive line is very good, but I think he's one of the most underrated players, if not the most underrated player in the entire league. And we saw this happen last year. When Lane Johnson was on the field, they allowed a 34% pressure rate. Without him, they allowed a 47% pressure rate, which was dead last in the entire league when he was not in the lineup. So I'm kind of a seller on the Eagles until they have their full comp. Like the Eagles' real advantage against most teams is in the trenches. Jordan Davis gets hurt last week, who was a big run stopper for them as well. That was like a costly game for them against the Cowboys in terms of injuries. I'm not high on the Saints. I don't have a strong opinion one way or another, but I think it's a lot of points to lay for Philadelphia right now. I agree with your sentiments on Minshew. He's fine, but backup quarterback needing to win by margin without a key offensive lineman, some injuries on the defensive side of the ball. I personally would lean the other way in this game.
Okay, good. See, when we disagree, the person who makes the pick usually wins. So I like that. Bronze.
I agree with that.
Bronze picks for week 17. Cam, you can kick this off.
I find it interesting how a team like Buffalo goes away, yet there's 30 feet of snow in guys' cars. Diggs can't even dig out his car. Have you guys heard of underground parking? Or like a kid that you hire from Tops or whatever is like the shovel kid when you come back so you can get in your cars? You're professional football players. I digress. This is a Super Bowl game for Buffalo, okay? Cincinnati, they've been the best. I get it. But I'm going to tell you something. Buffalo will play this game as hard as they can, understanding home field means everything to them. Pat, Rob, I was going to take your Vikings pick. Love it too. And Pat, I actually like Washington. And there was other game that I was looking at too. I think all the games that you guys covered were on my list of leans. I'm going with the Buffalo Bills to beat Cincinnati. Cincinnati also has a key offensive lineman out this week. And I'm going to tell you, Josh,
Josh Allen, is that who you're looking for?
Allen, yeah, sorry. I was going to call him Wilson. Like, what the hell? Sorry. Long night, heat problems. We're back. Bills are going to win this game by a touchdown in Cincinnati. They're going to find a way, get the 1 seed in the AFC, and this is the key. Give me Buffalo, Bill. Rob, I was going to piggyback your Vikings pick, but I wanted to do a little bit different this week. Give me Buffalo, and nothing's going to change my mind.
Okay.
I like it. I like Buffalo.
I'm not going to change your mind. Yeah, I lean Buffalo. I mean, I'm always scared to death of betting against Cincinnati. Like
Me
Cincinnati
too.
Now since the start of last year is 26-10 against the spread. All these guys do is cover spreads over and over. But honestly, the Bengals have not been impressive the past couple weeks. They played a very good first half against the Patriots, but
Buddy, my Patriots bet should have won last week. These guys. Oh yeah. By the way, Pat, you want to put that? Sorry, Rob. I don't mean to interrupt.
No.
My Mac Jones rant couldn't have been more accurate after that dirty fuck did what he did to Eli Apple. I can't even believe that happened. It was like the opposite of cussed. It was clairvoyant. This guy's a dirtbag. Did you guys see that low block?
Yeah, he did a cut block on a return for a touchdown. Like that was.
I told you about this guy.
But he is a dirty player. We know this. He's gotten cleats up on a couple people before in the past.
He's getting worse.
Yeah. Well, he's getting worse as a player too. So
you're right. He's regressing as a quarterback and as a dirtbag and human being.
Yes.
But give me the Bills this week.
You had to take the Bills because you had to make one of your picks an ungulate pick, as we found out what hooved animals are called last week.
Ungulate? Okay.
So would that be a ram?
A Ram would be
this
one
week.
of them.
Ram would be hooved.
Right,
Yeah.
I get the Rams might cover against Geoff's Chargers, getting 6.5. Baker Mayfield's actually got a bounce in his step.
Well, you took Buffalo, so I'm counting that.
Oh, okay. That's fair. Yeah. I usually go with Cats. Cincinnati's been a good friend, but I'm going with the hooves, Pat. Give me -1 hoof with Buffalo today.
I'm very surprised, Cam, you wouldn't put the Bills in the equine category as you have in the past.
Well, they are kind of the horses are equine. I don't know what a bill is more of a wood buffalo, a bison. So,
but Pat told us exactly what they were. What was the classification?
In ungulate?
Ungulate.
Those are hooved animals. Buffaloes are hooved
I can't go
animals,
to ungulatedatabase.com and get the results for Buffalo Bill 1 and you know what I mean, win play show. Bob Bison came in second and Bart Buffalo I bet horses, Rob. That's when you go to Equibase, there's no wood buffalo racing. There's dog racing.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know if being one necessarily disqualifies it from being another. Like, it could be part of a classification or a family of animal. I don't really know how that works.
See, we do this. Pat has Mayo Media Network and Run the Sims as well. And I have the Hammer, and I need a secondary product to attach to it eventually. I think I'm just going to do a trends database of animals, types of animals, and how they perform against other animals. Because I'm very curious about the ungulate versus cats historically. And in 2022,
these guys on FanDuel stole our bet too. It's like, oh, fruit animals. We've been talking about this shit for 20 years. It's like they're watching our shows.
This is the entire content space in general. If you do something that's popular, just expect it to be stolen by someone who's a little bit bigger than you. That's the way the world works, unfortunately.
And you will not get a check in the mail saying thanks. It's just like, thanks.
No, it's going to become their bit now. They think it's going to be hilarious for their audience and whatever. I mean, it's okay, Cam. We know who the OGs of some of this stuff was, you know?
Thank you, Rob. Appreciate it.
We know. The people know.
Yep, some of them. Not the guys on the score chat, but most people.
I was going to say the same thing.
Rob, are you going to take the Texans as your bronze pick?
I will. I might as well go down with the ship with Cam. I'm betting the Texans, so yeah, let's do it. I just think that this is obviously like a very narrative-y pick. I don't like to do this a whole lot, but sometimes you just have an opinion that is very different than the market. And to me, I think it would be idiotic for the Jags to play their starters for this entire game, considering the stakes on the line in week 18 against the Tennessee Titans. And we've seen Doug Peterson before do this same shit where he started pulling starters early on in the game. I mean, this is likely what's going to happen, in my opinion. And then you put the Texans against backups, and I like the Texans getting 4.5 against backups, period. So that's my opinion on it. I could be entirely wrong, and it wouldn't surprise me. But sometimes when you're betting on sports, you have to have some conviction on what you think is going to happen. And this is what I think is going to happen.
So that leaves me. I, too, like the Bills and Jets and Bears, 3 picks that have already come up so far. So I do want to go in a different direction because I don't have a super strong conviction on all of them. So I want to run this one by you. I took the Colts +4 against the Chargers on Monday night. Felt like that game could have been closer.
Had Nick Foles not have like a wooden leg or couldn't read coverages?
Can Nick Foles step into a throw? Is he allowed to, or is he going to throw everything off his back foot? It looks like he's playing Pop 500.
Honest to God, this guy won a Super Bowl. It's just watching Nick Foles play football. I felt bad for Matt Ryan out there. It's like you can anyway. And another thing, hey, Saturday, put in Ellinger. The guy's a kid. What are you doing? Anyway, hanking, I get it. But yes, Pat, you like the Colts?
I do. It's just, as kind of Rob always points out, can the Giants win by 7 against anyone right now?
I don't know.
That's the thing. In a lot of the, Tampa Bay, Arizona is a great example of this last week, right? Where all week I'm like, Tampa Bay cannot win by a touchdown, but I couldn't find it within myself to bet Arizona. And oftentimes you forget that when you're getting the underdog in the game, as bad as the team is, they start at 0-0. The other team has to score enough to cover. And I agree. The Giants offense, what's the ceiling for the Giants offense? Mid-20s usually?
Yeah.
And they're laying 6. Oh, that's an ugly one, man.
It is. So I like your other picks better, Pat.
I was going to take Arizona plus 4.5, but now it's down to plus 3 against the Falcons. That feels
Frank
like
Falcon might. I think Frank Falcon's in a good spot this week.
Why?
They might blow out Arizona.
Ritter is awful, by the way.
Yeah. Ritter, though, in fairness, I agree. I've watched both Ritter games. He's looked bad, but he started both games on the road. It's very different when you're playing at home versus like crowd noise dealing with when they have the first game was New Orleans. Last week was Baltimore. Tough spots to play. So maybe a better spot, like Cam said, but same scenario, right? Now you need Desmond Ritter to win by 4 points and Colt McCoy back for Arizona. So I don't know. Yeah, I like so many of the underdogs this week because I just look at the NFL now. I'm like, can this team win by margin? No. Yep. Give me the underdog. And I go down the list, and that's what I just keep seeing over and over.
So the other two I was giving some consideration to. I kind of looked at the Baltimore and Steelers game. I have no feel for that.
Who do you like?
I mean, no one. I mean, I like the Ravens to win. I would bet the Ravens money line, but the 2.5, who knows? It feels like a field goal game, thus the 2.5. Like if it was 3, I'd probably bet the Steelers, but I like the Chargers to beat the Rams. I feel like the Rams are now overvalued after what we saw against Denver on Christmas Day, and the Chargers defense has been excellent ever since they got rid of Crooked Tillery, and now they're good on defense. So I was giving that one a look. San Francisco.
Tillery.
I had
excellent joke.
Excellent joke. When we did the show on Tuesday, Cust made San Francisco -6 his super lock. Jeff and I both took the Raiders. This was pre-Derek Carr being benched, but I don't know. Niners -10 now against
what? I kind of like Stidham at +10.
Stidham sucks. Like he is horrible.
Yes, he does.
And the rest of the team may be like, fuck this. Like Adam, like they're all openly defiant now that Carr got benched.
Well, as well, the thing was, Devontae Adams went to Fresno State. Derek Carr went to they're buddies.
Yep.
So now these idiot coaches like separating your one weapon from his best. Like, dude, they should have stuck with Versace bread. He did a good job with that team. He might not be Mr. Football, but they were in the red zone against the Bengals. Rob, I know you're an analytics guy, but I'm just going to say this. McDaniels is he's so shit. He's overrated.
McDaniels has nothing to do with, McDaniels is an idiot. He's not an analytics guy. He's a moron, complete moron. I don't know how this guy keeps getting jobs. The Raiders are still alive for the playoffs. There's it's not going to happen, but the issue I have with this game is that obviously Derek Carr is the big name, right? But all the reports are they're benching Derek Carr and others. Like there's other people that might follow suit. Who is that? Is that Devontae Adams? Like are veterans playing in this game? I have no idea. Like San Fran playing a bunch of backups. San Fran will smoke backups. Like the 49ers are like very, very good football team. But I don't know. There's just like too much uncertainty. Like who's playing for the Raiders? I have no friggin' clue who's going to be on the field for them this week. And they lost Chandler Jones last week and they lost Denzel Perryman in their front seven. Like their front seven's a disaster. Imagine Max Crosby doesn't play this week. Like how are they going to get any pressure whatsoever?
Yeah, train wreck.
Yeah.
They have Jerry Tillery on their team. That can't help.
There you Crooked Tillery. That's a good one.
I like Crooked Tillery.
The last one that I wanted to get to, and I think this is going to be very unpopular. Maybe it can move up to 3.5, but even at 3, I think that the Dolphins beat the Patriots.
You know what, Pat? I thought the Patriots were the play all week. The more I think about it, a voice is telling me the Dolphins are the play. That's all I got to say about that game. I have no data to back it up.
The Patriots have now become experts at blowing every possible game.
Yes. The problem is Bridgewater's like...
Yeah, Teddy.
He's cooked. Yeah. He's more Teddy Bathwater now. He's not Bridgewater anymore.
Yeah, so a cooked Teddy Bridgewater... Here's the question. Is a cooked Teddy Bridgewater the equivalent of Mac Jones?
I don't know. Mac Jones is a dirtbag, and Teddy Bridgewater is bathwater. It's two horrible things.
It's also like Mac Jones is going up against the Miami defense, which isn't very good. Bridgewater's got to go up against a good defense. So maybe they're the same. Like maybe they're on par. I still think Jones is probably better than Bridgewater now. But Bridgewater's bad. Like he's become a check down guy. He takes too long to throw. That's a problem. Over 3 seconds to throw this year. Like that's a real problem against New England. Real problem.
Okay, I'll stick with my gut and side with Cam. You're siding with Cam on Houston. I'm going to side with Cam on the Jets in
Love it.
Seattle.
That's it.
This
is how we build the record back up, boys.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like we can't
or
just
sink it.
Like, how many times have we been like, oh, I got to do a different game? If we all like the same game, we like the same game. We sink or swim, and like let's do it. Let's just have a wicked week. We're on some of the same stuff. Let's do this thing.
Like, there's a good chance that everyone on the Seahawks offense is hurt at the moment.
Yes,
Even DK.
I would hope Lockett doesn't play. This is the thing. Lockett practiced.
That's true.
But either way, like, I don't know. The Seahawks, like Cam said, like they're just falling off a cliff. Like the offense is worse. The defense is worse. There's no signs that these are getting better.
No,
like it's the NFL. I get it. Anything could happen in any given week, but team's been trending downhill for a while. And remember, the preseason expectation on the Seahawks was very poor.
Yep.
They're starting to play like the preseason expectation, right? So it's not a huge surprise. I don't know. It does feel a little bit short to me with the Jets.
Yep.
All right, that will do it on the Week 17 Best Bet Show. For more content with myself, Rob, and Cam, I suggest that you head on over to the Hammer HQ Forward Progress channel on YouTube, a link which you can find in the description right now, and head on over to the hammer.bet for all your sports betting needs across all sports. So go check that out right now. Reminder to smash like, play in the Listeners League for DraftKings, and join the gigantic guaranteed prize pool of $500,000 with $50K going to first place. The season-long Fantasy Golf Championships one-and-done golf league race for the Mayo Cup. It's $125 an entry, 5 max entry, and you can find the link down in the description or just go to fantasygolfchampionships.com. I'm Pat Mayo. Thanks for watching. See you next time.
Pat Mayo Experience! Experience!